Hi everybody, this is the Honey Bunny card making workshop, and I changed it up just a touch on each of these cards. I didn't add anything fancy in, but I felt like there was a few cards that just, had a little too much black ink on them, or black die cuts, that with this spring color combination just looked a little bizarre. So I was trying to figure out how could I make that black look more normal, or how could I eliminate it altogether, because it just, I don't know, just it kind of took away from that spring vibe somehow. And so on this first one, this is the only one that I'm not sure I liked exactly what I did, and I think that I would change it just slightly, and when we get to that part, I'll tell you kind of what I would change on there. But you can leave the black friends or friend piece that I'm cutting out there, and the hello on the green strip that we're going to stamp, and then go ahead and leave the two black die cuts for the bodies of the butterfly. But because when I was looking at it, I just thought, oh my goodness, it just needs to have a little more black as some kind of an outline or something, and so I decided that I would have to, I had no choice but to put the a black mat underneath the yellow polka dot that we're going to work on. So you can see that I'm cutting out all the pieces for 4 cards there, so that's why it's taking a little bit longer on this part. But yeah, it just didn't look right, and I normally on this card I would have probably gone with a black 5.5 by 4 1/4. No, yeah, 5.5 by 4 1/4 piece as the base. I would have put it on the base card base, and then I just added everything to the center of that. But in this particular case, they are stamping on the card base, and without adding extra white, I just thought, okay, well, I will put the black around that yellow polka dot. So here's what I think I would do if I was to do this again. I would have made that black line much thinner. I think I made it an 1/8 of an inch. I would probably have gone for a 1/16 of an inch. So it just barely showed, but enough to add a little more black to the whole card so that all the black wasn't on the embellishments. I just felt like it really took away from the pretty springness of this card. So I really would have just gone around that yellow with like a 1/16 of an inch, just barely showing a little black border around that. So, but anyway, otherwise, this card is not changed other than that. So I just went ahead and stamped that hello on the dovetailed piece. And we're going to use some glacier ink for what? That's going to be the border stamp. So I'm going to take that border stamp, and once you've got that yellow and the black down, just go ahead and do that border. And I think it's, yeah, little butterflies, right? Little butterfly border in glacier, and not too hard to place down. So just look through your acrylic stamp, and you're not going to have any problem with this one. This fits together really easily, other than some that we've been doing lately. When they make them longer, it's so much easier when they make those little 1.5 inch borders, and then you have to try to keep it straight. Oh my gosh, really, really hard. But this one was quite easy. So now we're going to do these pretty butterflies, and this is a great thin cut too. Isn't it? Yeah, that close to my heart is leaving me. I mean, they did so many beautiful products. I know that there's going to be some that are going to be transferred over to Stampin' Up, and I'm very happy for all of you for that, and for me, because I will buy some Stampin' Up products too, even though I'm not going to be selling them. But you got Valerie for all of that, and she's going to do a fantastic job, and I will be buying from her myself. So let's put these butterflies together. I kind of slightly overlapped them, so I just put the bottom a little bit on the top, but on the picture, it looks like they just touched them. They just kind of touched together. But I don't know, maybe that one I just touched. But I think on all the rest of them, I kind of did a little overlapping. So it's up to you. Maybe this card is the only one that I didn't overlap, because I feel like I overlapped a lot once I made these. And then you just put their little body in between. But see how stark that black is against all those spring colors? It just I don't know, just not my color choice. So you're going to see on the other cards, I've kind of changed that up. So I probably should put on the beginning of this video that I changed some of the die cut colors because I believe I used them much lighter for the bodies later on. I'll try to go back and make a little video to just tell you that, so that when you're doing your die cutting, that you'll know that we changed up a few of those. But I tried to use only scraps. I don't believe I didn't add anything to this, so except, I did end up using some of the dots that go with this paper pack, but you could still just stick with the little sparkles that they're giving you and use your markers to color them. So that's one way to up those. But yeah, I had so many of these dots that I bought. I thought I might as well use some of these on here. So if you don't have the dots, just go ahead and use those sparkles that come with it. And then you can color them or you can leave them as is. But I wanted to use up some of my dots. So I think that may be the only thing that I have added to these cards that wasn't just in the scraps and stuff. So we'll see. We'll see when we get to it. I'm now looking at my butterflies and trying to remember what color did I make the bodies. Because I do these cards one at a time and do the voiceover one at a time. So, we'll just find out. And then I'll just do a little blurb back at the beginning. So, next is card number 2. This is a cute butterfly. I think this is my favorite of these. Probably because I love pattern paper and they use so much pattern paper on this and in the background. So I'm not one to have a lot of white in the background. I really like the colors of the pattern papers and stuff. So I think this is my favorite on here. And I don't think we're going to change too much. I think maybe we're going to change the ink on here and possibly the body. Yeah, I think I'm going to change up the body here, but let's just do the beginning here. So you're going to go ahead and put your butterfly paper down, and then put your yellow polka dot. It's right in the center. Measurements are on your page. I don't do the measurements anymore, but it's basically centered right in that middle. Easy card to do too. This is a card pattern you can use over and over again. Never think that you necessarily have to buy a pattern book, because every card that you've ever made is a pattern for another card, and multiple cards with lots of different looks. You could turn this whole pattern on its side and do it a vertical card with the same type of look. You use different paper, different stamps, and it's a brand new card and nobody's ever seen before. And then you could put the whatever it is that you're decorating with, whether it's a butterfly, a bunny, or whatever, on the left-hand side instead of the right-hand side. You can put the sentiment all along the bottom. So many things. I like I said, don't like white much, so I went ahead and did a little dry embossing on this just to add some texture in. I love to do that. It's such an easy technique, makes a huge difference on cards and layouts. So look at that. See, it's just, there's something special about a little bit of texture. So that's going to go down, and you still can stamp right over those lines. So never fear like that's going to get in the way of your stamping. It works just the same. So no problems with that. But it adds so much to a card to me. And I suppose you could do it on some pattern paper, but it's going to look a lot better just on cardstock. So, and it looks lovely on white. I love it. All right, so what do we got here? We're going to do our butterflies now. Let's see if I overlap this one, because I know it's been about 2 weeks since I made these cards, and the difference between that and when I'm doing the voiceover here. So I have to kind of remember as I'm watching how I did that. So let me see if I actually overlap this slightly, because I feel like I started to do that. And did I? Yeah, no, I just touched it. So whichever way you want to do it, but I think on some of these I did overlap. I just like that look of them just being just slightly on top of the other one. So let's see, what did I do? Did I make this a black one? No. So I went with my scraps, and I took probably it's, what is it, ballerina on there maybe? Flamingo, it might be flamingo, and did the body with that, because I felt that black was so stark, especially on this card. It It works, but it works better, I think, if you change the colors up and keep with that spring color tone. So I just used some of my scraps, and instead of punching it or cutting it out on the die cutting machine, I went ahead and used those. And I think I'm using the flamingo as the little trail of the bunny, or the bunny, the butterfly there. And then let's see what color we used for the happy birthday. Let me see, I think that's up next. Limeade. Okay, so any of the colors that go in this color scheme besides the black, I think are going to work a little bit better, be a little bit more springy, and not be so stark. So give me your opinion. I'd love to hear if that's what you, if you like it better that way. But just compare it with your directions and see what you think. Because I just felt like the black was just yelling at me. All right, now let's see if I use the dots on this one or if I use the sparkles. I don't remember. We got one little butterfly too that you're going to stamp directly on that. And that's going to be in glacier ink. There you go. There it is. And it's pretty light. You can barely even see it on the directions. I'm looking at the directions right now. So if you wanted that a little bit darker, pick a different color there. And then you're going to put a sparkle in the middle of him too. So I think I stuck to sparkles on this one. Let's see. I think I decided to use those. Yep. All right. So in the middle of the little butterfly is one of the little sparkles. And then up to the upper left of the big butterfly is another little one. And then all the way to the left on the card is the big sparkle. And you can color those in. Just use alcohol markers, not water-based markers. Alcohol markers, and color them in while it's still on the carrier sheet so you don't get it on your card. And there you go. Now on to card number 3. And this one, you're going to do some random stamping on it. But the random stamping, you don't want to cover your sentiment. So we're going to put down the sentiment first before we do the little flowers. When I first made this card, I went and random stamped, not thinking. And whoops, all of a sudden I didn't have spots for my sentiment, which are stamped directly down onto the card. So the friend word is going to be in the limeade, and then let's see what color I chose. I went ahead with archival black. So I'm going to use some black bodies on this one for the butterflies. So yeah, you make me smile. Put the smile down first, a little bit easier, because you can kind of put it right above that friend, and then line up the rest of it on top. Another cute card. And I believe it tells you the measurements from where to stamp that friend. But if it doesn't on your directions, make sure you pay attention to that. You want that to be up a little bit higher because you've got those little banners that you're going to put down at the bottom. So now you can grab your glacier and do a little random stamping of this little teeny tiny flower. And it'll be okay even if it goes under the butterflies there, but I probably left a little space for the butterflies, but it's okay if those go over. Yep. Nope. I guess I just went ahead and random stamped. So those butterflies will probably go over, and maybe the flowers will be peeking out behind them. Maybe not. We'll see. But yeah, that's why you wanted to put the sentiment on, so that those flowers would not be in the way of that sentiment. Okay? Easy. Random stamping is one of the things that I used to be known for. I used to be like the random stamping queen, and I would fill a page. I'd start with the biggest stamp and just work my way down. And by the time it was done, that page was packed with random stamping with probably no white space showing. Oh, I used to love to do that. It's still a great technique too. Always start with your largest stamp first, then the next one down, next size down. You keep working your way until you don't have any space left. All right, we dovetailed these. And I think, so make sure when you're doing these that you line them up so you know that there's going to be, the taller ones go in the middle. I think when I was first looking at this, I had to make sure because the yellow ones kind of look the same. Actually, I think this is it's the front and the back, so they're not that different in size. So kind of line them up to the side so you know the way they're going to go. And then I overlapped, starting with the ones on the ends first. They did it a little bit different. I think they put down the blue ones first, and then the yellow ones, and then the yellow one in the middle. I started at the outside edges. So, and then I think I'm going to do, let me see, did I decide to go with the ones? Yep, and then I just overlapped from outside in this time. So, not too hard. Yeah, it's weird doing the voiceover when you haven't done these cards for 2 weeks. So you got to try to remember back to what you were doing. And the reason I have to do the voiceover so late, because usually I do it immediately finishing a video, is because I couldn't find the cards. I was at a crop with a couple of friends where we were just working on our own stuff. And so I did all the video while I was chatting with them. And then I got home and I was unloading the car, and I can't find the cards. Where are the cards? I finally found them today. So I was able to go ahead and make these videos because I need to have the cards in front of me so I know how I did. Because it's really hard to see on the video. You guys can't see what I see, but as I'm recording this voiceover, they have this big black box up that takes up half the video. So I'm only seeing like the top half of the video. So it's really hard without the actual card in front of me to be able to see what I did, because there's this big box in the way as I do the voiceover. Very annoying, and I don't know who designed this app, but they really should have moved the recording little box down. They have plenty of space as you do it, but that just makes it hard for when you're doing voiceover, when you can't even see the video you're voiceovering. So, all right, we're going to put that on the card base now. All the banners are done. And now we just have to add some butterflies and maybe some sparkles, I think. All right. Line that up. It's going to have the slightest border, so you want to center it. And let's get these. Let's see if these are the ones I overlapped. I am sure I remember overlapping. These are smaller, so I'm going to use the glue instead of the tape runner. That is one thing that Close to My Heart still has left. So if you have not purchased yet and you need those tape runners, get them now. Because who knows? I mean, I think maybe you can get them elsewhere, but I'm not sure. So I bought a bunch so that I could get them before. Let's see, did I overlap? Just slightly, maybe. It's hard to tell because it's not a big close-up there. And then what did I do for centers on these two? I can't remember if I decided to go with the black or not. Because I used the black sentiment, I probably did. We'll find out here in a minute. I had the most trouble with that little butterfly wing. It kept wanting to stick up. I remember that. It was a fun weekend. It's always fun when it's, just a couple friends and you're just scrapbooking and watching movies and... Yeah, see, I had to keep holding that down because that thing just did not want to stick down. All right. My crafting troubles, right? First world problems. Let's see what color I use for their bodies. Yeah, look at that. Still, both of that whole butterfly was bothering me. All right, we went with black. Okay, that makes sense because the sentiment is in black, and so it picks up that color. And unlike the first one, which just everything seemed to be so much white, it wasn't outlined in any way. This one has got that nice border mat around the just below the card base, So it really has kind of like 3 borders behind it, and so it didn't look as stark. So we can use the black on this one, and it's not too bad. And then I'll add a few sparkles. Now, this is another where black sparkles, if you kept to the smaller ones, not big ones, wouldn't be bad. They would probably work there. But I think I'm just going to go with the 2 small and the big one. And keeping them the light color. Isn't it nice that spring is finally here? Although was in Michigan and Illinois, we had a good winter. I was just talking to my husband today, and we haven't seen any snow that really stuck for over a month and a half. It's wonderful. So last card, and this is going to be one of the long ones. I always forget what the measurement is on this. It was 3.5 by 8.25, something like that. And so what I decided to do, add some texture on this so you can actually do the dry embossing on the card base too. Normally, if I had a lot of white paper around, I would just use white paper and then I put it on the card base. But you can go right ahead and do it on the card base. It's just a little thinner. You want to be a little more careful when you're using that embossing tool that you don't press too hard and rip through it. And now I'm going to do the flowers down at the bottom of this. I believe they're in the Glacier ink and the Limeade ink. I believe that's what I use. I can barely see it. Let me see. All right, I'm looking at the card now. Yes. So, okay. So flowers were in like the ballerina. The little flowers are in the Glacier, and the stems are in the Limeade. So that's how I did it. But you can do it in any mismatch. They're not mismatch. Any way you want to match it. Using those colors. Just try to stick to those spring colors. So that was the Glacier there. And I think we're going to start putting on the paper. Yeah. So first going down is going to be the butterfly paper. And that's going, it looks like pretty much directly center, maybe up just a touch. I don't know, it's around center. Just look at your measurements for that. Put that down. And let me see if I've changed up too much with this. I think I'm going with the black. Yeah, I think I'm going to go black bodies for the butterflies, and I'm going to do the black sentiment. For this one, I don't think I had to change anything. Yeah, because I like the way it looked. So put down that yellow polka dot, and then we're going to go ahead and build our butterflies. Starting with the pink at the top. You know what would be really fun with these butterflies, and it might be hard to do with these ones, but you can give it a go, is you could always lift the wings a little bit and not glue them straight down, and then use a really strong glue for the center of the butterflies, and then just like lift those wings up a little bit, and they'll be a little more 3D. It's a really cool way to do those. And I think, let's see, we're gonna go ahead and do the stamping next before we put those bodies in. This is gonna be a pretty fast card, actually. And it's a cool one to get too, because it's a different type of size, and so it really stands out in the mail, right? And stands out as a card. I did overlap these ones, I see that. Finally, I found the one where I overlapped. I knew I had. My memory isn't completely gone. All right. And those just go right in the middle there. And then I think all we have left is a couple sparkles, you guys. And we are done with these cards. And next up is going to be the Honey Bunny scrapbooking layout. I hope to work on that this weekend for you. Get all of these videos done for you. Have a great day.